Well, it didn't take long. It only took 2 years, literally to the day, December 27th, for my Filipino wife to become fully Americanized, hate everything about me and what I provide, and decide to leave. Yeah, welcome to the shittiest post that I'm ever going to make.
I really don't know what to say. But I do feel that this is a man's biggest fear. Uh, this is a man's biggest fear. This is a passport bro's biggest fear of marrying someone and excuse me, they decide things aren't going to work out after you've invested in them. Excuse me. After you've invested in the visa and the immigration process and the plane tickets and you know, that immigration process is not easy, it's not hard, but you do have to show a lot of support and documents and finances and stuff along those lines. Because they're not going to approve a woman coming over to America and living in poverty. Uh, excuse me, let's be honest. But this is definitely a man's biggest fear, right? Listen, I'm not here to talk about the Philippines, right? But I will say that there's a lot more stories coming out of the Philippines about women leaving men and deceiving men and taking advantage of men and hustling men and manipulating men and doing the visa fraud, as we may call it, coming from the Philippines, right? I said there's a lot more stories. I didn't say that's the only country that it happens in. But the majority of the news, the articles, the Reddit comments, the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the majority, not all, but the majority of the stories that you see regarding people being taken to the cleaners and the women leaving come out of the Philippines, right? And you're gonna say, "Hey, Chris keeps flying. How can we uh, 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 prevent that?" I'm glad you asked. I am not a fan, and I've said this, and I want to say this. I am not a fan of the old go over there and live, right? Go over there and live with her, right? Go over there and live in her country. I am not a fan of that. To each their own. What people decide to do with their time, money, resources, life, has absolutely nothing to do with me. But I am not a fan of that. And you're gonna say, why? All right, so let's say you're in the States, right? Hypothetically speaking, you're in the States, you're making $150,000 a year, right? All right, so you want me to quit my job, right? Quit my job, right? Go overseas, find a remote job, find a local job, right? Making $1,500 a month, maybe, right? Maybe. I wanted to say $600 a month, but I'll say $1,500 a month. I'm gonna quit my, high paying six-figure job, right? Go overseas to make $1,500 a month, right? Just so I can vet a woman. And a lot of guys that I see online, hey, you should go over there and live. Okay, I should go over there and live in poverty and cut my finances and cut my bank account and cut my retirement and cut the amount of income coming in just to vet a woman. Let me repeat that again. I should go overseas and cut my finances 75%, 80%, 85% just to vet a woman so I can live in poverty and struggle. That ideology makes no sense. So I am a believer in bringing women to the States, right? I did it, right? I was married, right? I might do it again one day, who knows? But some things have to be taken into consideration, right? Listen, I'm not here to bash the Philippines, right? I'm not, right? But I've been there, right? I'm not here to bash the Philippines. I'll say it again. I'm not here to bash the Philippines, but I've been there. Uh, and I'm not, look, I did no reports. I didn't get on ChatGPT. I didn't get on Google. But I will say that a lot of the women, or most of the women, or all of the women that I met in the Philippines were living in poverty. right? And I'm not saying there are not women in the Philippines that don't live in poverty. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, uh, a lot of women that you're going to meet in the Philippines live in poverty, right? I remember this one girl I was talking to. She stayed with her family, right, which is cool. Whatever it happens in Africa and Caribbean, South America, traditionally, based on a lot of religions and generational curses and culture, right? And I've said this before: women in a lot of cultures aren't supposed to leave the house uh, until they get married, right? But does that mean they're supposed to live in the house with their mother, their father, their sisters and their brothers, their uncles, their aunts, their grandparents, their aunts and uncles? Like, I remember I met this girl and she had like a gazillion people living in her house, right? A gazillion people, like at least 5 people live in her house. And her house really wasn't that big, right? And she was telling me how, true story now. Listen, I'm not one of those lying YouTubers, right? True story. She was telling me how it was when it rains, the water leaks inside of the house, and they got buckets or pans, whatever, to get the water. She told me this. She said, "Hey, when it rains, my house leaks." So I'm like, "Damn, that's crazy." Listen, like I said, I'm not here to bash the Philippines. I'm not saying that everyone lives in poverty, but when you're finding women, right? When you're finding women, right, that are living in poverty, and I will continue to preach this until y'all get in your head. When you're finding women that are living in poverty, the first man that offers to get them out of poverty, they're gonna go with her. They don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, 100 pounds, 300 pounds, one eye, one testicle, one arm, leg. The first man that offers to get them out of poverty, they're gonna leave with it, right? So if you're going to ask me my advice of how to prevent this, number one is don't find a woman in poverty. Like if she's struggling, if you go to meet the family and it's some shack, some little wooden house that look like it was built in 12 hours, they're using the bathroom outside in a shed, right? They don't have running water, right? If you go meet a woman, you go meet her family, right? You talking to a woman and she's living in poverty, she's with you for the free meals. She's with you for a better life. So that is first and foremost the number one thing that you can do to prevent yourself from being uh taken for this roller coaster. So let's see some more of this story.
There's a lot to it, and I'm not going to go into it, okay? But suffice to say, after providing and going on the Disney World trip, which included the funeral for my mom, I got up to day 6, I think, uh, on that because it all broke down at Magic Kingdom. Fucking ironic. And I didn't post anything after that because when we got back from Orlando to St. Simons, Georgia, I was greeted with the announcement from Jayanne that she wanted a separation. And then I discovered through text that she had been discussing this with her family and making plans to also take the children.
All right. Then let me say a prayer. Oh, Jesus, please help this man with whatever he's going through emotionally, physically, mentally, financially. Keep him strong. Even though this is a painful time in his life. Amen. I had to say a prayer for that guy. If you look at my other video, right, of the Philippines, right, you can find it, right? Just search for it in my video. You can look at it, don't look at it, I don't care, right? If you look at my other video, I talked about this. A Filipina said this. She said that a lot of Filipinos are playing the long game. A lot of Filipinos are planning to leave you from the beginning. A lot of Filipinos are planning to use you from the beginning. Listen, I'm not a Filipino shit. Not a black guy, African American guy, European guy, American guy, Asian guy, right? A Filipino second. Go search for a Filipino, and I can probably find it, right? A Filipina said that a lot of these Filipinos are playing the long game. In the beginning, they're playing the long game, right? Imagine you're with a woman, right? And her family's hi, he, nice to meet you. You're a good man. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the whole time they're plotting to take you to the cleaners. And I've learned this, right? And I've learned this through relationships with Vanessa, the woman that loves to hit men, right? And I learned this with African Queen, and I learned this with even my ex-wife. A lot of women are extremely close to their mothers, right? Vanessa's probably a little too close to her mother because she'd have a better life if her mother wasn't in it. I'm not saying her mother should die. I'm just saying if her mother wasn't living with her, right, she'd definitely have a better life, right? But I digress. But a lot of women are very, very close to their mothers to the point where their mothers still tell them what to do. They still listen to their mother's advice. And if things go south, if things don't work out, let's and I've told this story before. I was arguing with African Queen one day and she called her mother. And a lot of mothers are the daughter calls and say, "Hey mommy, Chris keeps finding I got into an argument, right? He said this, I said, well, they ain't gonna say what they said. Chris keeps finding I got into an argument. This is what he told me, right? They're never gonna say what they ain't gonna tell their mom what they said or did, right? I'm always going, oh, you should leave him. You can find a better man. Do this, do that. Why don't you do this? You can come home, baby, right? A lot of mothers are, what's the word I want to use? When you use someone to get to a point in life where you can take advantage of them. You know what I'm talking about. But a lot of mothers are manipulating their children selfishly to get what they want. They are. And that's what I advise people, right? Listen, I would never date a woman that has a mother staying with her or stays with her mother, like Vanessa, right? I, listen, I feel like you need a relationship with your mother for sure. But this is the kind of woman I need, right? And my ex-wife was probably the closest to that, right? Sometimes, not all the time. I gotta respect it, right? Her mother was there before me. This is the kind of woman I need though in my life, right? If I tell you go left and your mom tells you go right, I need you to go left. Let me repeat that again. If I tell you to go left and your mother tells you to go right, I need you to go left. That's the kind of woman I need. Like I need a woman that's beside me, got my back. Bonnie and Clyde, Road Dog. I need a woman that's gonna lock in with me. I need a woman that's, if I say let's jump off this bridge, we're gonna jump off the bridge. Like I need a woman that's for better, for worse, till death do us part. I need a woman that's ride or die. Like I need a woman that's I know has my back. And if you're dating a woman, I'm giving you some advice. Advice number two. If you're dating a woman, right, Vanessa, if you're dating a woman and their parents, their mother specifically, influences their life, if you're dating a woman and their mother specifically tells them what to do, what they should and shouldn't do at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, the one, the two, the three, the if their mother is that impactful in their life at 25 to 30 to 35 years old, they need to go sit with their mom. They need to be in a relationship with their mom. I do not want no woman. And this sounds crazy. I don't want a woman that is that close to their mother. I don't want a woman that is that close to their mother to where their mother still tells them what to do, especially in relationships, especially in relationships where the man is providing. Listen, if I'm paying your bills and I'm giving you $1,000 to $2,000 a month, right, for whatever reason, bills, hair, nails, braids, car note, electricity, whatever. If I'm giving you let's say $2,000 a month, and your mother's giving you nothing, and I'm working two jobs, and I'm giving you money that's not going to my IRA or my HYSA, and none of these accounts that's going to benefit me when I'm 100. If I'm giving you money instead of investing in my future, because that money could be invested in my future, if I'm giving you money instead of investing in my future, and your mother still is impactful in your life, and your mother, you still listen to everything your mother says, and your mother's giving you relationship advice, find someone else to do it. Because 9 times out of 10, these mothers that are giving relationship advice are single. Vanessa, African Queen, Mac's wife had a man. I mean, she be married, which is cool. So I can't Can't put her in that same boat. But a lot of these women's wives, I'm sorry, a lot of these women's mothers that are still giving them relationship advice are single. Vanessa, African queen, you taking advice on relationships from your mother who ain't been married in 30 years, don't even have a boyfriend, don't even have a boyfriend. I'm giving y'all advice. Y'all need to be taking up. Make sure you're pen and paper out. Let's finish this. I got stuff to do.
So, um, that's heavy, right? That's a nuke. And I'm going to go into my bunker. So I came downstairs in my nice 4-story mansion and just stayed by myself through Christmas Eve and through Christmas Day. And I missed Christmas with my children. My in-laws, my mother and my father-in-law, and Jayanne, they proceeded to open the presents without me. Presents of which, all of which I bought.
And this is the thing, man, and this is gonna hit hard for a lot of guys, man. This is gonna get hard. This is gonna be beneficial to a lot of guys, man. And it goes back to a little bit about what I said a few minutes ago. If I'm paying for everything, listen, I'm not trying to say a woman got to be my slave. I'm not saying she got to bow down and say your highness and all this sort of stuff. But if I'm paying for everything in the house, right, there has to be a level of respect. If I was there, right, I'm gonna be honest, right? If I'm there, right, and she says after I done all this immigration stuff, and we get married, she's in the States, because you hear what they was in the States. Oh, if I've invested financially and I bought gifts, you don't have a job, you're a stay-at-home mom, bro, and you opening gifts after you and your mother just conspired to take me to the cleaners, man. Ain't gonna be no gift opening in that house. I'm tearing stuff up. I swear. I'm everything going in the trash. I'm cutting up toys, gifts, shirts, pants, underwear, teddy bears, electronics is going in a tub full of water. Might burn them. There's no way on earth that you and your mother conspired to take me to the cleaners and y'all just gonna open up gifts. But y'all gotta catch on to something. Listen, I know a guy too that's married to a Filipina. Respect to him, right? He all right, you know. But here's the thing, man. With free game, write this down. Here's the thing, man, that you're gonna witness, especially in Asia, right? Because I was married. Well, I was I was in a relationship with an African woman for a minute. I was married to a Dominican woman for 5 years, and I'm just gonna be. It's especially in Asia, especially in Asia, especially in Asia. A lot of these women want to bring their families over, especially in Asia, especially in Asia. A lot of these women want to bring their families over. I'm telling you the truth. I'm gonna say it, a lot of these women want to bring their family over. Listen, like I said, I'll be damned if I go overseas as a passport, bro, quote unquote, meet a woman, decide to get married, bring her over, then bring a mother over to live with me. Imagine me marrying a woman, bringing her over, then bring her mother over to live with me. Imagine me marrying a woman, bringing her over, then bringing her mother over to live. What I look like living with her mother? What I look like? I don't want to live with my own mother. What I look like living with her mother? But what I look like living with her mother? Like I said, I was in a relationship with African queen. Never no talk about bringing a mother, living with a mother. I was married with a Dominican. Was never no talk about living with a mother, bringing a mother. Specifically in Asian countries, guys. The truth can never be considered disrespect. The truth can never be considered disrespect. I'll be dang if I marry you and the terms of the marriage is based on your mother coming to live with me. I'm telling you, I'm talking about Filipinos right now. These Filipinos is taking me into the clean. I would never love a woman so much on earth that I want to live with her and her mother for the rest of my life. I would never love a woman so much where I'm providing, I'm making groceries for me, her, or kids and her mother. I'm paying electricity and water. And all my expenses went up because her mother's living with her. Let's say we don't have any kids. Hypothetically speaking, me and her, we can get a one bedroom, we can get a studio, we can get a loft. Now I gotta bring a mother over. So okay, two bedrooms are obviously more expensive than a one bedroom, right? My finances went up. Now I have more money going out than coming in. And that money I could have saved, I could have invested, I could have done this, I could have done that. Listen, if you meet a woman and she's saying that, you know, she's coming to the stage and she's ready to, excuse me, settle down and get married and come live with you right in America somewhere, and she said my mom got to come to, block her, block her, block her. Do yourself a favor and block her. I never love a woman so much that I love her mother equally to where I want to be with both of them. Okay, so let's say we got to do some ground and pound. We got to do ground and pound. We got to have quiet ground and pound because the mother's in the other room. You know, her mother's gonna be talking to her in the local language. You're not gonna know what they're talking about. Listen, I'll be dang. I like to walk around the house naked. So I get around. Let's say I get out the shower. I want to dry off, put on my deodorant, brush my teeth, floss. I want to walk around in my boxer shorts. I can't walk around in my boxer shorts in my own house because the mother's there. But listen, free game. Y'all write this down. I'll be dang if I marry a woman and her mother comes to stay with me. Yes.
Yeah. The separation is a separation. I'm lucky enough to have a big house, and the logistics of it can be met right away. But I spent Christmas utterly by myself,
Hmm.
and it's coming up on New Year's Eve, and I'm still alone because
Mm.
there's no communication from her. Why? Because she's communicating with her parents.
Mm.
She has the total backing and validation of her parents, plus TikTok, uh,
Mm.
all external sources of validation.
And I've said this, and it's in one of my videos that I'm talking about the last cycle I was with. You know, we in Punta Cana and up some $300 a day hotel resort, and she on her phone on TikTok. A lot of women are influenced by this social media generation. A lot of women are influenced by what these celebrities and influencers and someone just in front of a camera is saying. A lot of women are influenced by what they see strangers because they don't know these people. These people don't know them. A lot of women are influenced by what strangers are saying on the internet. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying I'm not on TikTok. I'm not saying I'm not on Instagram or YouTube or social media or Facebook. But what I'm saying is a lot of women are influenced by what they hear, and that impacts their relationship. Oh man, this person said I should do this or do that. A man should do this. A man should do that. A man's a man if he does this. A man should be provided. He's not in this masculine energy. He's not a man because he don't do that. Listen, true, true, true. I don't need no social media girlfriend. I don't need no social media girl.
And it's my position, my feelings are are not relevant. She's got it figured out. She's got a plan. I'm waiting to hear what the plan is, and we'll see what happens from that point. But I'm pretty. I'm at peace with what has occurred, what could occur. I am done being Mr. Fix It. Fix It Felix. I'm not going to be the simp, nice guy, Fix It Felix anymore. A relationship takes two people.
Listen, I'm not watching this whole video, right? He's a statistic or something that happens time and time again, especially in the Philippines, right? No disrespect to the Filipinos, especially the Philippines, man. And listen, I gave y'all the keys to success to prevent this from happening or minimize the chances of this happening. But look out for signs, man. Look out for signs, right? Look out for signs. But Philippines, y'all gotta take this L, man. At this point, they respectfully. I know guys that's married to Filipinos, right? The truth can never be disrespect. He said it, not me. This is AI. Listen, at this point, I don't even suggest guys marry Filipinos anymore. Don't even suggest it. Don't even suggest it. The truth can never be considered